Hey everyone, this is Carrie, and I'm back to do a step-by-step painting tutorial. Today we are using this Kestrel as a muse, and I actually just got back from the Raptor Trust where I taught a class painting this. They did awesome. There was one little girl there who had to leave early, so she didn't get to finish it. So that's why I'm doing this, and I love this painting anyway, so I wanted to kind of put it up on our YouTube channel. This, disclaimer, it's not my original artwork. I saw this on the internet. I changed it up a little bit, but the premise of the whole thing I found on the internet. I do not know who painted it, so I can't give him credit, but I can tell you I did not come up with this idea, unfortunately. I love it though. All right, so we are using black canvases to do this, and I'm gonna put this right here, and you can get your paint ready. I'm using these 3 paintbrushes that I typically use. They're still wet from painting today. Okay, so I pretty much use the big flat paintbrush, the medium flat paintbrush, and then a small round paintbrush like this. Feel free to use whatever you want though. And I put all my, this is leftover paint, but I put all my colors. I didn't put green because I didn't use any green in this. And it's dirty because I painted before and I used this, so I'm just reusing it. You can put this in a plastic bag if you have some left over and store it for the next time you paint. All right, so have your water ready, your paper plate for mixing, your napkins, and here we go. So as you can see, we don't have any of those colors in here. I mean, maybe some of the white and whatever black, but we're gonna do a lot of mixing. So at any point you wanna switch it up and use a different color, do something different. Obviously, this is your creation, so you go ahead and do that. I like to mix with this this medium flat brush. I'm gonna put the other ones aside. Actually, I'll put them right here. Seeing as that my fancy easel has a paintbrush holder, might as well use it. I'm gonna start with a light blue. So I'm just gonna take, some blue, put it on my plate, and then I'm gonna take some white and put it on my plate and mix it, okay? It doesn't have to look like mine, just as long as you could see it on the canvas, we're good. All right, so if you wanna use the smaller brush as like it's more the size of a pencil, feel free. I'm gonna be using this. This is like the 4th time I'm painting this. So the first thing we're doing is we're just gonna break it down into shapes. So if you have the actual painting in front of you, if you maybe printed it out or you have it on your phone to look at it, if you put a grid, an imaginary grid down, you can kind of see where everything falls. But I'm not going to do that because I don't like my paintings to look the same. So this is, like I said, the 4th time I'm painting this, so it's going to look different than the other 3 times I painted it. So what we're going to do first, lightly, is figure out where you want this Kestrel to go. Okay, the Kestrel body. So and you can switch this up later. It doesn't have to stay here. So I'm just going to kind of do that. It almost looks like an oval coming out. All right. Keep it simple, as they say. So we're gonna have one wing coming out this way, okay? Now I just want you to kind of make sure this flows. So by doing that, you kind of come down with your brush stroke like this, and then you're gonna do your other wing like that, okay? And we're not gonna go into any kind of detail yet, so we just need a sketch to help us, all right? So that's the wing, all right? And this wing is gonna, all we're doing is gonna come out like that, just enough so you could see it, all right? So while we have this blue out, we're just gonna put some blue around here, okay? And I like mine really painterly, so I could see the brush strokes and stuff, but I also wanna get rid of that line here. So while we have blue out, we're gonna paint blue. I should be cleaning the barn right now, but this is more fun. Also, if you hear any screaming goats, one of my goats, literally, she has an Adam's apple. She's so loud. I'm so shocked nobody's called the cops yet, or Bigfoot researchers, because she literally sounds like a Bigfoot. Not that I know what one sounds like, but all right. So you don't have to go all the way down because we are going to, all these the tips of the wings are going to be white. So I'd say just there. It doesn't have to be solid. I just don't Just try not to have that line going across. You don't want any kind of line going across, okay? Now I'm gonna put some blue up here. Obviously at any point that I'm going too fast, you can pause this and come back to us, or you can fast forward to wherever you want. Obviously, you know how to use YouTube. And I'm going to put this blue spot where the Kestrel's eye is gonna be, just for fun, right here. Now, every time I use a color, I'm gonna come on over here and I'm just gonna start getting that motion, okay? We're gonna be overlapping lots of colors, so, you know, don't worry about it being exactly like this. It's gonna look much different later, okay? So we just wanna get that flowy motion here, all right? So now that we have this, we are going to mix a lighter blue by just adding some white into this. So now I have a lighter blue, okay? And now I'm just gonna put some lighter blue in there. And you know, your blues might not look like my blues, so don't worry about it. As long as you can see that it's lighter. And we're gonna do darker blues too, okay? Every time I do a new color, it's going over here. And then as I come over here, we're just gonna start putting some lighter blue in here. Now the wings are gonna come out like fingers, okay? So they're gonna be like, you know, you wanna start feeling the idea that it's gonna come, they're gonna come out like this, like a fan, okay? So you have that. I'm actually gonna use a little bit more white. So now you got you want a really light blue. And we are going to, actually, you know what? Let's not do that yet. Let's wash your brush. Sorry. Wash your brush off. Yeah, my mind goes in all different directions, sorry. If you've painted with me, you know this. So we're gonna move to a darker blue. And every time you paint your brush, just make sure you dry it off really good because water loves to get stuck in the metal part. So dry it off. Now we're going to make a dark blue. So we're just gonna take the same sort of blue, the blue right out of there, and we're just gonna add some black to it. So we have a nice dark blue here. I like to add a tiny bit of white just to make it a little less transparent. And what you're doing over here is we are going to start making, I hope you can see this. We're gonna start making the tips of the wings, okay? So we're just gonna come down and it's like a fan. I would say it doesn't, doesn't really matter what, I like making them look like a finger. I just don't like them to be completely uniform. And also you wanna keep a little bit of black in between because we're not gonna be outlining this. We're gonna be using the background as black, as the outline, okay? And as you go up, and if it's easier to not go all the way, sometimes when you go this way and go all the way up, it kind of makes it go straight across instead of going up. So if you want to kind of go up here, you're doing a very, very subtle shape, okay? As you come down here, if it's easier to do it that way and then go back and make them pointy, but I don't want a whole lot of detail yet, okay? And you can even come up here and start doing some stripies. Have fun with the paint. If you want to come up and do some dark blue up here, you can do some dark blue up here. But the biggest thing is keeping that fan-like style, okay? You want it to be like open up like a fan, all right? And you have this dark blue here. You can put it wherever you want. It doesn't have to be in the, like what's in the original, okay? Now I have some dark blue up here in the sky. So I'm just gonna kind of blend some of this dark blue over here because it's got like this spacey feel to it. I'm gonna make it even darker up here. So I come around here, put some down here. I mean, you don't have to do everything I'm doing. You don't have to do anything that I'm doing. I'm just, every time I use a color, I'm gonna come over here and do it. Now while I have this dark out, I'm gonna make it even darker. And again, you don't have to do this. I'm gonna just add it into my original dark pile. I want this to be like a midnight. Like I want it to literally look like space. And you probably are thinking, why don't you just keep the black canvas? You can do that. I just don't, I don't like how it's a little bit more matte than the rest of it. So I like paint to be on it. I would notice that, I guess put it that way. I would notice it and it wouldn't bother me that there's no paint up there. But if it doesn't bother you, cool. We're all different. So we're gonna keep on working with this shape, so don't worry, it's gonna be constantly changing. Don't worry at all throughout any of this. This painting's gonna keep morphing. And we're gonna keep on making new colors. All right, so let's see if there's any more, and I think we're good for now. And wash your brush. I know I'm going fast, so you can slow down anytime you want. This is very painterly painting. So we're doing a very, very light blue now, okay? So, and you could even, if you wanna make it a little bit less intense of a blue, you could add some black to it, but I want a lot of white because we're gonna make a really, really, really light blue. All right. So I want it lighter than all the other blues so far. And I have a gooey brush, so I never work with a gooey brush. So I'm just gonna wash it real quick. I don't like a whole lot of paint on my brush. And I'm also probably gonna switch to this since I'm gonna be filling up more space. All right, so I have a lighter. So now I'm gonna go back in here. I'm gonna keep on adding a little bit. And obviously, it's gonna look different. Every time I do this painting, it's gonna look different because I'm not mixing the same exact colors, first of all. And second of all, I'm just doing brush strokes around. I'm obviously not measuring anything out. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. So that way, every one of my paintings is different. So I do not want my paintings the same. And as I say, if you've taken my class, we do not go to museums to see all the same painting, okay? Now these tips are gonna be white, but what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go into it with this lighter blue, okay? And you can switch brushes if you want. I like to go across like this. We're gonna start making it look lighter, okay? Because every time we use a lighter color, we do less paint. So lighter, less. So we're just gonna go. You can use this like a razor blade, or you can use it flat like that. So you could do a thin line or a thick line. I'm using this color as a highlight also for my wing. So see, if I want it straight here, I can use it down that way, and then I can go this way. So we're just gonna, remember you wanna keep a little bit of black in between. But you know, feel free to go across, you can go horizontally too. Just have fun with it. Use the brush for different shapes. That's what's really cool about this painting. You know, it's very, very brushy. And everybody did so great. I can't wait to upload all the pictures. I mean, I got emotional because everybody did such a great job and everybody's looked different and exactly what you say with all that stuff, but this one was like extra special. Okay. And then as you go up, they get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And again, the white's really what's gonna make it stand out, the white part of the wing. So right now this is just gonna really be the background. So as you go, I know I did this one already, but I'm gonna put a little bit more up here. Maybe put some up here. I don't know what I'm doing with this. I have it, so I might go back later with it. Let's see. Let's wash your brush. Let's do the orangey brown color for the Kestrel. Put a first coat on that. So I'm gonna wash this big brush because I just used it. And we're doing this first coat of the burnt sienna type color. So it's going to be very transparent. I always say to when I'm live teaching, I always say keep the paint very thin. But if you're at home painting, you can paint as thick as you want because you don't have to put it in your car. But I like painting thin and then painting in layers. That's what I like personally. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an orange color first like this, okay? I put way too much red, so I'm going to add a little bit more yellow. Once you get a nice orangey color, you're just going to add a little bit of blue at first. You're just going to neutralize it, so make it it's a little bit less bright. And then you can always put more blue in it. Okay, so I like mine to be a little bit on the brownie side, but in the class, like, there were so many different variations. I mean, it looked so cool. All right, so now that you have this, you're gonna just come in, kind of go around the head. Don't worry about the beak and all that stuff yet, and the eye. We're just gonna fill that in. So I like to keep a little bit of black, like I told you before, like a puzzle piece, I like to keep a little bit of black as a line in between. You do not have to do that, obviously. At any point there's something you don't want to do, don't do it. So I'm just covering up this, black canvas. So you're not gonna be able to blend this because the blue that we did before is dry. So you can go in with blue and blend it if you want to, or just keep it like this for now. And I like the brush, I like being able to see the brush strokes. But it's all a preference. And if you came down here, you could see a little bit of the Kestrel over here. Just make sure it matches up with the body. So if the body comes here, it meets it over there. And I also put some in to the wing, just cause, for fun. You could put some anywhere you want, like whatever, go to town. And I put some over here. Now, the brown I have here is way more yellow than my original color. And maybe I'll make it a little bit redder next time around, we'll see. Or maybe I'll have this Kestrel look different. I'm not sure yet. So if you want to come back here and kind of, with the blue, blend it a tad, you can go for it. Totally up to you. But you probably won't. I'm sure your blue from before is already dry. So if that bothers you and you want to blend it, go ahead. If not, we'll do it later. It's really not a big deal. And I took some blue and I had fun with it over here. Putting some blue around. All right. So what are we doing now? Let's see. Let's wash your brush. Wash it, wash it, wash it. So what we're gonna do now is, I have a nice washed brush. We're gonna add a lot of white to that. We want almost a white color, but we're adding it to that brown, so now we have like an off-white, okay? So now I'm gonna actually just change brushes. I'm gonna use this one, the bigger one. Now I'm going to fill in this stuff. And I know it seems white to you, but it's actually not white. It won't look white once we put white. So you're just gonna use this to get the flow around here. So we're gonna have, this is called the underpainting or the wash. So you wanna have something down. I'm going in all different directions too with my paintbrush, which you don't have to do, but I like to do. So I'm gonna again leave a little bit of a black line like that. And that transition of where you're going close to the Kestrel here, but your brush strokes are in a different direction than flowing up here. All you got to do is, like, once you get it inside there, like that edge there, you can just whoop, come back this way. Like that. Yeah, I don't put music on because I feel like I can't really talk and listen to music. It kind of, it's like rubbing your belly and your head. But obviously, put on whatever. And plus, I'm always thinking people don't want to listen to what I listen to. So feel free to put on whatever you like to listen to. And I'm sure you don't need, you know, my permission. And I'm gonna keep going. Now we're gonna splatter paint later. So we're gonna have, that's gonna fill up a lot of this dead space up here. Gonna need to make more. I'm gonna mix again more of that brown later. So I think I want mine a little bit on the redder side, not the yellow side. And just have fun with it. This part's relaxing. You can just see how the movement of this going around. That's why I love this painting. I love how it seems like it's just, you could feel the movement of the wings. And when you go, I mean, you can use the smaller brush, but when you go around these wings, you know, just, I like to keep a little bit of the black as you go around, like that. Just keep that in mind as you go around. That will definitely be easier if you use the smaller brush, but I'm being very lazy. But I shouldn't be. Okay, so I'm gonna use this, this is the brush that's gonna be a lot easier, or use the smaller one, whatever you want. But I'm gonna come in here, kind of come around, and you're really using the background, the canvas color, to put the space in between. And these spaces where I'm going higher up, you don't have to do that at all. It's a preference. It's all a preference. I like how it kind of gives it an interesting positive and negative space. I like that. But if you don't like that, don't do it. If there's any point you don't like what I'm doing, don't do it. This is your painting. I like how it looks like they're kind of, the feathers are separating. And this is definitely, I'm purposely trying to make it different than my other ones. And see, I'm all over the place over here with my brush strokes. I love that. I mean, that's my preference, is you might not like that. So then we're gonna go back up here. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna fill in this space up here. Again, I'm going to, ooh, I need to mix more. It's ghost painting. And you rub on your plate with your paintbrush thinking that by doing that you're gonna make more paint, but you really don't. You just waste time. Okay. I'm making another beigey color because I ran out. Okay. So you're gonna come up here and fill in all that. If you want to keep some black on the edges, go for it. Whatever. If you don't know yet, or if you do, if you want to later put it back, you can take black and actually go on top of it. So my brush strokes are like my personality. It's like all over the place. I'm a Gemini though, so you know, that's what we do. Lots of thoughts. I'm gonna go back in here, I think. Put some more. I'm gonna add white on top. And once we add white to this too, you're gonna really see, you're gonna see how this how yellow this really is or how beige this really is. But I want those different colors to be in there. I want white to stand out and the beige to stand out. Put some over here. You don't have to put some, I'm putting some, okay. I think you get the drift. You don't have to do what I'm doing. I'm gonna put some in here. I don't know why, just kiss. And you know, if there's ever a point where like you do something, you're like, oh my God, I didn't want to do that. It's so easy. Acrylic is very forgiving. It's one, if you give it a few minutes, it just dries, and it's easier just to let it dry, walk away for a few minutes, come back, paint right on top of it. As long as it's not an inch thick, you're good. Now I'm gonna go back with all my other colors again for another round. So, you know, that's what this is. It's like a layering process. So I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to actually mix another, while I'm letting this dry, I'm gonna mix another orangey color for my Kestrel. I wasn't happy the first time around. I mean, I'm always happy, but I think I wanna make it orangier. So I'm gonna use another plate and mix and neutralize. I think I neutralized too much before, but I definitely want it to be brighter. Gotta be careful with the neutralization. And I'm gonna add a tiny bit of white just to make it creamy or a little less transparent. So when you get it like this, you can add more red to make it redder, obviously, and then add more yellow to make it yellowier. I wanted mine a little bit redder, so I'm gonna go back into this for second round. Don't worry about all the stuff that you did. They're all friends. They're all gonna meet. They're all working together. So wherever you want it to go, I'm gonna put it. So when it's nice and thin, it's very easy to go back over it. And we're gonna do more blue. Don't worry, I had you put that there just so your mind gets, like, knows where it's going. And don't worry about the face, we're doing that later. We're just gonna do this for now. See, less transparent now. And we're gonna do highlights and stuff later. And if you feel like going back in, go back in, whatever. I'm gonna do some more over here. Okay. Oh, don't forget this little guy. All right. I'm gonna wash my brush. Now we're gonna go into the pure white. So we're gonna wash that brush, and then now you could use, I wouldn't use the big brush, but I'm not gonna tell you not to. We're just gonna put some white on the plate here. I'm gonna use the medium brush. If you wanna use the small brush, use the small brush, okay? So now we're gonna go into the wings, okay? So we're not gonna cover everything we did because we wanna see these cool colors underneath, but we're gonna do some highlights on here. So you feel free to go horizontal and vertical for different effects. And as you go up here, you know, Kestrels have the stripes on their wing feathers. So go ahead and you can do that. And like I said, it's not about covering everything you just did. It's just about enhancing it. Okay, so I'm doing that. Feel free to go down like that and then go across. And you don't have to do every wing like that. You can just do, you know, go down like that and be done with it. Up to you. But have fun, experiment. See all the different brush strokes you can do with your brush. And as you go up, you're just gonna end up doing little, it gets smaller and smaller up here. But I don't even know what I'm doing as I go. I just kind of go, you know, with the flow. And that's how I paint all the time. So for me, that's easy to say. But I know when you don't really know how to use, you're still learning how to use the tools, give yourself time, okay? Or if you have a mentality of, you know, everything has to be, you know, in order, it's hard to just say, all right, yeah, do whatever. I understand that completely. Completely. And you can go back too, you know, go back and see if it's even, see where you need to balance stuff out. And I'm going to do a little highlight here. Maybe do one here. I'm going to put some more, I'm going to go back to my baby blue. Yeah, you can go back to any colors you want, anytime you want. So do some of that. Okay. Now that we still have the white out, and of course mine's not fully white because I just smeared it, but that's all right. It's white enough. Now you're just gonna enhance it by putting some white, and it's gonna start to pop. And it's not about me covering everything I just did. I'm just adding another color, even though white's not, well, like back in the day when I went to art school, white was absence of color. I don't know what they say now, but when I went, white was the absence of color and black was the absence of light. So I'm just gonna add some white wherever. Add it up here. And experiment with turning your brush this way and flat and then long ways and see the different brush strokes you can get out of it. It's very fun. So the transition here, when you go up here, and I have it pretty white up here, you know, just go this way and kind of pull up to give it that movement. You can go down this way, definitely, just when you know, just you can switch your direction by going this way. And I'm gonna add more colors too, like come back with the other colors and bring them down more. And you can work into this as much as you want. You can go as high up here as you want, go as low as you want. I mean, this is your painting. I'm just here to guide you. And if there's ever a time where you put a color and you don't want it there anymore, and then you just take another color and cover it up, it's that easy, literally. So if you say, and you can go, you know, further than I do. If you want to do, when I did the class today, there was people putting like purples in the sky. It was crazy. It was awesome. They were doing stuff that were surpassing what I was doing. So feel free. If your favorite color is purple, put it in there. Okay, so as you can see, we build up and build up, and then it slowly, the picture slowly comes out, okay? And let's see, I'm gonna put some white. I'm gonna switch my brush to the bigger one because we're gonna do some white up here just to add to the coloration. Like I said, I'm gonna keep that beige, but I'm just adding another element here to our painting. And if you don't like all these crazy brush strokes, you know, you can do whatever brush strokes you want. This is a very sort of like, to me, like a very angelic painting. Kind of like, I don't know, it just reminded me of angels or the universe and space. That's why I added all well, we're gonna splatter, and that, to me, that's stars to me. Okay, now this is the time where you wanna like play around. So with any colors that, you know, play around with mixing, and you can go back in and, you know, put some color in, play with the brush strokes, put some hidden messages. Kids love to do that. That's pretty cool. Sometimes kids will hide their name in the painting, which is really clever. So yeah, don't forget, you can keep on adding more stuff over here. It's hard to know when you're done, but there's a point where you'll know. Don't forget over here if you want to put some more colors over here. Now, this is not in that one, so I'm just kind of going with it. We shall see. All right, cool. Let's see. We could put a little bit more. I had people put some turquoise in there, which is pretty cool. If you want turquoise, you can just take blue, add a little bit of yellow, and then it really pops when you add the white. The more yellow you add, the greener it gets. Okay, it might just look like blue on here, but when you put it next to the blue, you can see the yellow in it. So feel free to add some turquoise just for the heck of it. Why not? Even maybe up here, I don't know. I'm just messing around at this point. Oh, I like this. See, my students inspired me. Use some in here. Most of my paintings have some sort of turquoise in it. I love turquoise. I love mixing turquoise. And every color that we're doing here, we're gonna splatter too. So, okay. So I'm gonna go back to my darker color, because I feel like there needs to be some sort of transition up here a little bit better. Okay, and anywhere else you see? Okay, so feel free to pause. I'm gonna move on, but if you wanna pause and work on that, you can, obviously. We're gonna go to black, but I like to put a tad of white in it just to make it a little creamy, because that's just what I do. And then I'm going to take my tiny brush, and what you're going to do is you're going to put a line like this, and I'll hold it closer so you can see. Where you're going to put where the eye's gonna go. We're just gonna put a line like this, okay? And then we're gonna put the eyeball like that. And then I want you to paint it in. We're gonna start with that. Nice and simple. Then, once you have that, you kind of do almost like it's gonna get a black eye, like you're gonna put a line on the bottom like that. And this is where one of those, I'm gonna switch to the medium brush. When you get to that point, we are going to come down. I ran out of black, that's what I'm doing right now. Getting some more. You're just going to come down to about the wing, I'd say. Like that. And then over here, like on the number 11, you're going to do the same thing over here. Okay? Again, I like to keep mine very brushy. I know it looks weird, but stay with me. Now that you have the black out, anywhere you want to put any of that black, like maybe in between some of the wings, if there was a spot down here that you might have missed or you went over, you want to put more black. Anywhere you see that you want to put more black, go for it. You want the up here to be a little bit darker. Okay. Now we are going to, let's see, of course my brown dried up again, so I gotta make more. Hey, every time you make more, you learn, right? All right, so I have this now. I'm trying not to neutralize. I'm like neutralizing crazy girl. I'm trying not to I'm trying to use brighter colors. Okay. All that college made me neutralize the heck out of things. All right. So I am going to, we're going to go, I'm going to just do I don't like how dark mine is, so I'm just going to do one more coat. Just around stuff, nothing crazy. I just want it to be a bit brighter. Okay. And again, I like mine brushy, so I don't really, all these lines and stuff don't bother me. I like it. And I'm going to put some more over here while I have this guy out. Okay. So I'm also biding time so we can let this dry a tad. And we are going to go into, oh, you know what? Now that we are going to make this a little bit lighter. So I don't like to ruin the whole thing. I'll just take a section and add a little bit of white. So now you have the light tan, the light orangey color. So we're just gonna put some highlights for now. Maybe under there, put some highlights over here. Put some highlights up here. Okay, we're gonna put a beak here, so put some highlights under here. So, and then anywhere else you wanna do it, go for it. It's really not gonna look like the Kestrel till the very end. We add the beak and the gleam and all that stuff. So let's get into that beak. So you're going to take that black, okay, and you're gonna go over here where we had this, about right here. We're just gonna go over, make a straight line. I like to go about to the edge a little bit over, and we're just gonna make a little bit of a beak like that. Okay, I see that. Whoop. All right. Pause it if you want. All right. I'm gonna just blend this in a tiny bit. Then we are going to, surprisingly, use blue in that beak. So I'm gonna go back to my blue. It's up to you what blue you want. I like mine to be a little like in between the dark and the light. We're gonna go inside that beak and we're just going to fill it in. Let me put this closer to you so you can see it. I always have to use my pinky as a kickstand. So we're just gonna fill it in. Again, mine's super brush strokey. I like it like that. All right. And while we have the blue going on, we're just gonna put a lighter blue right down the center of the beak as a highlight, okay? And if you wanna go this way too. Now we have that highlight. Let's see. So I was gonna say, let's use the same highlight for over here, but, oh, maybe it will work. Mine, it's a different blue. So you're just gonna, to make the highlight, it just needs to be a lighter version of blue than what you have, since we probably all have different blues. You just gotta add white until you could see it. See how you can see the blue over here? And if you wanna, it's up to you how highlighty the highlight you want. Same with the beak. If you wanna go even lighter, go for it, okay? And I think that's good for now. Now, you can go as into the highlights as you want, okay? I'm gonna go back and do, this seems a bit straight for me, so I'm just gonna add a little brush strokiness to it, just so it matches everything else. And while you have the black out here, you're gonna do a little nostril. So we're just gonna do, oh, Heather from Raptor Trust told me what that was called. I think she said a nostril, but she knows everything about pretty much every bird. So I, on the other hand, don't know as much, not even close. All right. So if you want, you can go another step with the highlights. You could take your brown, this is up to you, and make it even a lighter one, okay? Remember, lighter, less. So if you are putting one that's lighter, you could just put less of it there, okay? I'm not doing it to cover everything. I'm just doing it to make it pop a little bit more. And again, just make sure it's balanced, like you think it's balanced. So anywhere you think, doesn't matter what mine looks like, wherever you think you need to put some color, go for it. At any point, you want to go back to another color, go back. Or say you want to add purple into here and you're like, ooh, I really feel like this needs purple. Guess what? Go for it. And you just kind of dabble with it until it's the way you like it, okay? And then see, like, say you put something in there and you don't want it. All you got to do is go over it with another color. No big deal at all. Okay? Not a big deal. That's what's great about acrylic paint, is it's so easy to fix. Or change, I should say. Sometimes you do stuff and you take a chance and it doesn't always work, you know? Then you go back and you can fix it, and not a big deal. All right, so do that until you get it the way you want it. And then we're going back to white again, okay, with a tiny brush. And here's where things are really gonna pop, okay? So you are going to take the tiny brush and you're going to just make a top eyelid and then a bottom one. And then you're just going to do a little dot in there, okay? If you want to make a little mouth under here and do something over there. See how much that little bit does? Just doing the one brush stroke on the top, one on the bottom, and there. And here, you might want to skip this part. It's totally up to you, but I like to flatten my, you can either spin it like this, or you can flatten it like this and use it like a razor blade, and that's what I like to do. I made a gleam in the eye, like, let me see if you can see it. It went down like that. Make sure you can totally move your canvas around so you want to have good leverage. So you can, I did like a little gleam in the eye, okay? If you want to do that, if you like it, go for it. You could even kind of do 2 more in the middle, like that. And then put your finger in the wet paint and smudge it. No, don't do that. I did that. Okay, so it's a matter of preference if you want that gleam in the eye. It's totally up to you. Okay, so anywhere, if you want to go with the pure white now, pure white, anywhere you want it to be painterly, if you want it to come around and make this brighter. This, this is where the whole thing is your decisions, but you get to choose. Okay, so this part's the fun part, so it's all fun, but if you feel like it needs to be lighter over here, make it lighter. If you feel like somewhere it needs to be darker, make it darker. Even it out in some places. All right, I think that's good. Okay, so now we're gonna splatter paint. Splatter paint does a lot. All you're gonna do, try not to splatter your face. You're gonna take this clean middle brush and just choose a color. I'm actually gonna do this brown first. I'm just gonna water it down. And I know your water's probably got a blue tinge to it. Don't worry about it. And if you wanna practice on something first, go for it. I'm going straight in. So I just if I get globs, it's just a planet. That's what it is in my world. And you're just you might want to lay it down flat. It's easier to lay it flat. And you're just gonna go around. Anywhere you want, doesn't have to be where I'm going. And it fills in that space, adds some contrast. And again, if you want to use a color that you don't have on your palette, go for it. You can do whatever you want. It's pretty awesome. Art is awesome because you can learn stuff and then break the rules. It's amazing. How many things do you know that you could do that? They encourage you to break the rules. So just one tip about splatter painting is don't do it when your brush is really goopy. Even if you mix and then you have to wash your brush, do it that way. Okay, I'm gonna go put some more orange. Now it really looks like spacey. Now I'm gonna move to another color. I'm gonna do blue. And I always have somebody who gets themselves in the eye with the splatter paint because they go in the opposite direction. So if you do that, I'm calling you out. Just kidding. Okay. Again, like I would try it out first on a piece of, like on the, I don't know, napkin or something. Oh, I know, I just got myself in the eye. Ugh. Okay, last but not least, we're gonna do white. And if you're mixing with the dirty water, literally my water's like that. And, you know, obviously you can give yourself new water, but it won't make a difference. It's still gonna look cool. It's still gonna look white. So I'm gonna, see, I'm like doing that, watering it down. See how goopy my brush is? I don't want to use it like that. And just wash it off real quick. And then use it like that. Where's my big brush? Let me just... And any big, huge globs, they're going to be planets for me. Or stars or whatever. And don't worry if it gets on your Kestrel. Cool. Anything you want to add? Now is the time to do it. Okay. Cool. So the last thing I'm going to do, and again, this is a part you don't have to do, but I love it. You're going to take with your small brush, do the same thing, flatten it. I made stars. If there's like a big fat blob here, I did the same thing we did with the gleam in the eye, and I made stars. So go slow. You use your pinky. I mean, I could never do this without using my pinky. Okay. Do one here. And you can make them as big or small as you want. And you don't have to do, like, you can just do 2 crisscrosses, whatever. And I like to put a little spot in the middle. It's kind of makes it magical. And of course you want things to be even here too, so. And you just kind of keep on going around until you think it's done. I'm a gleamaholic. I'll keep going. I love it. Maybe I'll put one more while I have you here. I feel like there needs to be one right about here, a small one. All right, after I get off the phone, the recording, I'm probably gonna add about 150 more. Anyway, as you can see, when I put these 2 side by side here, hold on. Let me see, I can see, if you can see them both. Not really, but they're different, you know what I mean? The original, there we go. So the colors are different, I mean, you could tell I did them both, but like, you know, even I don't make the same painting the same, okay? So that's that. Anyway, thanks for painting with me. I hope I didn't ramble on too much, and I guess it's better than silence, awkward silence. So thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I'd love if you went onto my Facebook or Instagram page and posted or tagged me in what you've done. I'd love to see it. And hey, enjoy the rest of your night. Happy painting. Bye.